Welcome everybody to DeMOCKracy. It's Friday night and we're doing it right. That's right. There's only one way to do it, and that's the fuck 'em fam way. It's been a long, crazy week of news, and I think everybody's ready to get loose and get crazy and talk some mess. Episode 6 of DeMOCKracy. Let's beat the gang.
6? What?
Episode 6. Yes. We are there. We have gotten to that point.
Wow. Episode 6.
Sex. I mean, what? What?
We're gonna mix it in a little bit. We're gonna do it.
People are saying
we're gonna make it 6y.
Yeah.
That gives new meaning to the phrase. We'll do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. I swear, even.
Money.
Your leftist ass like corn on the cob.
Oh man, it's been a crazy ass week. Especially,
It's been a crazy day.
Yeah, especially with the nonsense that happened today. Like fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly wasn't expecting that, safe to say, but yet at the same time, part of me isn't surprised that the Russian psyops are coming home to roost and making it so people can't even, they don't know what's reality anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
True. I'll drink to that.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's very sad
very sad.
But
to be that detached from reality.
yeah, I mean, to just have absolutely no problem realizing that this isn't going to be a short way to end your life. This is going to be incredibly painful and fairly, by all accounts, slow. And I mean, there was some parts about his manifesto that he was near right. It's like you're almost there, and most of everything you're saying sounds like you could actually be joining us on the left, and you don't even have to like burn yourself up to do it.
It's true.
Yeah.
Right, it's so crazy.
I just was not expecting that today. I mean, obviously, we know that he's on trial, and we knew that it was going to get crazy, but like, how many more buts can you put in there?
Is this guy still alive or what? I haven't heard anything this lately.
He will not survive that burn.
Yeah.
He will not survive.
For now,
I
but
was like to say, I don't think he would survive.
he won't
that.
make it.
No.
I
He
mean,
burned his lungs when he breathed in the flames, and that pretty much sealed the deal for him.
I mean, yeah, that was a big fire.
That's a horrific death.
That is a horrific way to. I'm like, what?
He had 100% burn on his whole body, and from my own experience of being burned 30%, he's done. I was on a ventilator for 10 days. He's not gonna make it to the ventilator.
I mean, this is the country that we live in, and this is what the world sees when they see us. They see an ex-president who is on trial for infidelities that led to basic election interference, and it's a documents fucking trial, so they have paperwork. And I mean, the rest of the world is like, how much more black and white can you be?
Yeah.
100%.
This really shows the dangers of disinformation. Like, people think, oh, fake news is not hurting anybody, but it hurts a lot of people. Like, and it's maybe not always as severe as this, but like, I mean, imagine what would happen if he had like a healthy diet of media and news, like what might
Just
what might
truth.
have been.
If he heard the truth.
Yeah.
true.
Well, I mean, it's like Lev Parnas said, you know, I mean, there's so many people who purposely make sure that they're inside of that echo chamber so that they never hear anything that might spark their cognitive dissonance and cause narcissistic collapse.
Yeah.
So
Sad.
he was from Florida. That's not surprising.
Okay, well,
Wow.
I mean,
that is
yeah,
like,
that's a
talk
thing.
about planning. I mean, you had to get
Florida
to New
man.
York. I mean,
Florida
you had
man
to.
strikes again.
Florida
Florida
man
man.
needs to cut it the fuck
Florida
out
man.
is what Florida man needs to do.
It's either Florida or Texas, either one, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's not
you
like
take your pick.
Texas is exactly doing stellar in that department.
No, you're just like Jesus. It's probably Texas, somebody from Texas or something. It's Jesus.
I don't know how you combat this because these people are acting of their own accord. Luckily, he didn't harm anyone else, but
Correct.
I mean, he did harm everyone who had to witness that.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Like
yeah.
Everybody
Darren
that
said
was
earlier
around
today.
there are now permanently traumatized.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
harmed the
Smelling
nation.
human flesh burn
Yeah.
isn't like anything. Like
N-
the smell must have been like
No,
awful.
Yeah,
it's not fun.
people were holding their noses and gagging and crying and all kinds of things because
Yeah.
well,
this
like,
dude just set himself on fire and nobody. I mean,
what can you do?
before
Like, it's
anybody
not like
realized-
you're
I
gonna
mean,
fucking, yeah, it's not you're gonna dive on them to put the flames out. You know what I mean?
the lady
I mean,
from CNN was like a blow blah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, she was like Howard
Yeah.
fucking Cosell on that shit.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Like she is like every second of this
He was
guy
giving
burning.
smells and everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
She brought
It
out
was
like
bad.
And I'm like,
she
I didn't
brought
have
out
this
a
shit on my
blazer.
Really
bingo
bad.
card.
Brought out like a blazing. She said a blazing.
as somebody
Yeah.
that's done a fair amount of traveling, you know, I was just having this visual as that was happening as like, you know, you're just walking through with your band or your loved one hand in hand strolling down Lover's Lane, you know, and then you look over, you're
Yep.
like, oh shit, that's the big
Somebody's on
courthouse.
fire.
Holy living fuck, Uncle Kentucky came to America.
Fuck,
All right.
man.
I'm not laughing, but it's.
Mhm.
Mm, 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 mm.
And for
No,
those
I
of you
really do feel
confused, go
sorry
ahead
for
and-
those people. I mean, all the news is perfect. Could have a. I mean, all the news is already there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here we go.
Good thing is we're gonna do our dive bar shit right now, so that's good.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're going
Cheers.
to, in fact, let's go ahead and look in the chopper hopper. Get me a drum roll and let's find out actually who our host for tonight's going to be. Oh shit, it's Shooby-Doo!
Come on down.
Shooby-Dooby-Doo!
It's
Your
your
next
turn.
contestant on
shit.
the topic is right.
Wrong
Be kind,
topic.
okay? There's gonna be a little bit of like sexiness, a little bit of alcohol involved, but it's gonna happen.
Oh
Let's
no,
do it.
anything but that.
In a dive bar, no.
We're in a bar.
We're in our bar of our own making. Isn't that awesome?
Well,
Exactly.
Shooby-Doo and I are in the same place apparently, based on our background.
I was gonna
I just
once
now
I get
noticed
the
that.
floor, once I get the floor, I was gonna call you out for that. Okay? Someone's stealing my shit right now, and I'm not really happy about it. Okay?
Well, I figured out how to obviously use the background. It turns out you cannot use background on the web version, so I had to download again because I'm on my shitty
Oh.
work computer that deletes everything every now and again.
But-
You have to get the
and-
app.
I didn't have time to like download my, the cool logo thing. So
Oh, well, it
This was it.
happens. At least you
I'm
all
flattered.
y'all are in the same
Flattered
city.
that you're
Yeah.
the same
the
background. as
same
me, so I'm
Discord
flattered.
city.
Shooby-Doo's night to host, so I guess it's we're all in Shooby-Doo land.
Oh boy. This is
All
gonna be
right.
fun.
All right.
love
Well,
us some
maybe.
Shooby-Doo
I don't
land.
know. I don't know. Hey, so I got 3 clips I sent to Skip in advance.
All right.
So we've got like a visual. So the first one is about Me Too and me replatforming Me Too dudes, I guess. Yeah, they're all dudes. So there's a clip, I think Farmley, who might be in the audience, I'm sure she's probably here. She sent out this thread that it just really kind of hit me yesterday. I'm like, these knuckleheads, like it's Bill O'Reilly, Chris Cuomo, and Rosie O'Donnell talking. And like Rosie O'Donnell's the only one who's like bringing any like knowledge. And like these guys are like both Me Too'd and like they shouldn't even be on any platform. So I don't know. You want to play this the clip, Skip, about the whole thing with like what they talked about in that little segment there that Farmley sent out?
What's happening?
So, who is the dude on the top left? I recognize all the others.
Tubin.
Jeffrey
You
Tubin.
know Tubin.
He got Tubin on Zoom.
Okay, that's
That's
I
the
was like,
Tubin dude.
I was like,
He's
who the fuck is that
The
guy?
Zoom and Tubin.
Yeah, he got caught Tubin on Zoom. I think in 2020, while he was
Yep.
on the
Oh
call, but
yeah.
like,
Yeah, he was jerking off on a Zoom call.
yeah,
got
he got
caught.
suspended from CNN for 6 months, and ever since then, I
So-
just can't look at him the same way. That's all I think about is
Yeah.
He
Tubin.
literally just got replatformed on the CNN, and there's an interview. We don't have it on the show tonight, but there's an interview of him having to explain, and the host, who's the female, said, "So you were jerking off on a Zoom
Damn.
call?" It's like he had to explain himself on air to get replatformed.
Wait,
onto
so did
CNN.
he get fired? Because I know, like, he was suspended for 6 months, and then he came back, and like right before the insurrection, did he? And then I stopped watching CNN. Did he get like fired
He's
again?
been off for like 2 years. He's been off. But
Oh, so now he's
he's
back
been
on?
replatformed back onto CNN.
Gotcha.
And so then you have Chris Cuomo and you have Bill O'Reilly. So the clip that we're going to show in a minute has those two and Rosie O'Donnell. And I'm like, these guys are like Me Too. Like,
Now
how are
was
they?
it Chris?
Oh, it's
Was his
brother.
brother?
to
But he
really like
yeah.
push the right wing agenda. Bad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he had Bill O'Reilly and Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie O'Donnell like schooled him. And I think it was Farmley. I don't know if she's in the chat tonight because she's like, yeah, she's there.
I see Farmley.
Yeah, she's in here.
He's the one who like sent the clip out. And I'm like, wow, it kind of hit me hard yesterday. And that's why I knew I had to add it to the show. And it's going to be topic number 1. So Skip, is there a way to play that clip that Farmley sent out or no?
I think that the best way just for us to work the show is just to talk about what's going on in the image.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we can't really show the clip. So it was basically a video of Bill O'Reilly, Rosie O'Donnell, and Chris Cuomo. And Rosie O'Donnell just schooled them about Trump and like the whole Me Too movement. And I'm like, these two guys have both been Me Too'd. And they have Rosie O'Donnell that's saying like Trump is like a piece of shit.
Mhm.
And they're both trying to say that he's not. More Bill O'Reilly than Chris Cuomo. But I'm like, it just struck me like, this is just how does the whole Me Too thing happen where these guys get screwed over for being dicks and then now they're allowed to be back on the platform. So, the visual we had earlier had Don Lemon on there. Obviously these other two guys, and it's like, how is this happening? Like, we have to mock this shit because these guys are like being allowed to be back on air after being Me Too. Like, once you're Me Too, you're done. Get the fuck out. You're done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So that's why I want to start a show with that. I want to sex it up a little bit because that's what I do. I sex shit up.
You and Color Me Bad.
Yeah.
I want
it.
to
Let's
sex
do
you
it.
up.
I love that song, by the way.
I do
If you could play
too.
that right now, I would
I
dance
saw
to that
them in
shit.
concert in 1992, y'all. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I wore that
I'm the
cassette
oldest
tape
guy
right
in this-
out.
I'm the oldest guy in this show, and I will sex up shit like no one's business. So, yeah,
only
Don Lemon's the
people-
other guy. The other guy is Don Lemon.
So
he's
Don
not
so
really
Don
bad.
Lemon got me too'd.
I
Yes,
didn't know.
Yeah, what's
I
up with
didn't
that?
know
I
he
forgot
did.
that.
I
yeah,
didn't know
yeah.
he did.
The guy was in a bar like a few years ago, like 2021. He puts his hand down his pants and makes the dude sniff his fingers and say, "You want a SMD?" And like he got
What?
basically that's one of the reasons why he got fired. You guys didn't hear that story?
No.
Oh
No,
I
shit!
missed that.
Oh,
Oh my
I'm
Yes,
going
I thought
deep down.
I
I'm
mean,
going in
doesn't
some
he have a
rabbit holes.
husband or something?
What?
Didn't he
Google,
Don Lemon marry
pull up
or have a
pull up
man?
Google right now and say Don Lemon, Me Too. He literally like some dude was kind of hitting on him at a bar, like not bad, like he just wanted to buy him a drink. He literally puts his hand down his pants and says, "Can you smell this shit? That's you want it? You want this?" That's one of the he didn't even get
Wow.
fired for that. So
Wow.
that's what I'm
really
saying.
weird.
So he did that to somebody
Yeah.
else.
That's a
That's
weird
about 3
fucking
years ago.
move.
Yes, yeah, 3
Like,
years
That's
ago.
really
So
weird.
that's what I'm saying. That's why this is segment 1. We're gonna work into a little Me Too. You know,
Oh
we're gonna
my
have some
Lord.
cocktails. So
Ugh.
some of this stuff in these segments is gonna come back around a little bit, and I'm gonna warn you.
You just
Well,
let me
weird
know
though.
when we're
Why
ready
did I
for
not know
Trigger
the
that?
warning.
second image. But
Yeah,
I
no, I'm just saying, like, all those guys on that image
It's
have been
done.
Me Too, but they're being re-platformed in a certain way. I'm like, really? Like, how is that even happening? Like,
is it just
sorry,
me, or
I'm
not
like-
only Chris Cuomo, but with Bill O'Reilly too? They went to was it News Network? Is that the
yeah, like, who knows? I mean, I
News
don't even know the
Nation?
name of it, but
News
like someone's
Nation,
paying them to
yeah.
say what they're saying.
Chris
But, like-
Cuomo, I thought he had his own show. Like he did his own like channel on social
No,
media.
he's being paid.
But he got actually Me Too'd as well. I don't know. I mean, that's why there's so much of a fire hose of this stuff going on.
He
It's
also
like,
threatened to throw someone down a flight of stairs. Yeah.
yeah, and like there's video of him like naked in his house, like, you know, with his wife, and he's like trying to look out the window, like it's a great day. It's like, who does that shit? So that's why, like, some of this stuff is like, it's like 2 to 3 years old, but it's like, once you're Me Too'd, I think you should be done.
Yeah.
That's my premise and my theory. And these guys are all being re-platformed. Who's doing that and why? I don't understand, but they need to be fucking mocked.
Well, now I
So I
feel
was-
gross
I said the
because
F word. I'm sorry, but like, I'm getting a little buzzed. I'm having fun, but like,
what it's all about.
I'm sorry. I'm
We're
sorry.
not
I'm
gonna have
sorry.
a Me Too
We
moment
do.
here, are we? Should we do?
No, but I've been working out.
No one's
work
gonna
out.
no one's gonna be tubing on here. No.
No, we're not tubing shit, but I'm telling you, like, it's weird. That's why I started the segment with the like
Only because my camera is off.
like a little bit of soft porn. It's not hardcore,
Yeah,
but like
my camera
soft
stops
porn.
at the chest, so you know, you never know.
Yeah.
Hand check.
So-
No, I'm sitting here thinking about Don
Drinking a
Lemon's
soda. I swear.
YouTube, and people are praising Don Lemon. Oh, your platform, and now I found this out about Don Lemon.
oh, like he
And
literally, like, if you
and-
Google it, he put his hand down his pants and makes the guy sniff his fingers. Says, "You want this? You want this D?" Like, I don't know.
That's just
It wasn't a dill pickle.
It's
It
And
was
just
now everybody's
beyond
like,
weird.
"Oh,
Like-
congratulations, Don Lemon, on being on YouTube." I'm like,
that literally just happened 3 years ago or 2 years ago in like 2001 or 2022. That he literally did that in a bar and still maintained his job at CNN.
I've been in
That's just
show
fucking
business
weird,
a
man.
long time, and I've never heard of anybody
But-
making a pass using that particular method.
"That's interesting." Yeah, that's
And now
really
he's doing his YouTube channel. He keeps referring to his husband, but does his husband really know that he put his fingers down his pants and put his fingers up to a dude at a bar and said, "You want this dick?" Like, I'm sorry, I said dick. I did it.
Oh no,
Sorry.
anything but the word dick.
Oh, give a fuck.
Oh no,
You dickhead.
stop!
I just me dick myself. I'm sorry.
Yeah, somebody
Quit
like
dicking around.
was clutching my
but-
pearls.
You know, our
Oh,
panel
wow.
here tonight, you guys didn't even necessarily know about all the details with
No.
No,
shit.
no,
Nope.
not at all.
and it's like it literally just happened in the last 2-3 years. So it's like,
Mhm.
how are these guys? My whole premise is why are these guys being re-platformed? Once you are
Yes.
like that far out,
We got to talk
you're
about
fucking
Donnie
done.
Dick Sniffer here. Like we can't like just
People
let
have
that
short
go.
memories.
Hashtag Donnie
Yeah.
Dick Sniffer
So,
needs to.
so that's
And also
that's kind of
depends
topic
on
one,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
typing that in
and
the chat.
And I'm like, ooh, and people are like, oh, Don Lemon's so great. I'm so glad you're on YouTube and you got a platform. And I'm like, ooh.
and
And-
it's like it also depends on the egregiousness of the offense too. I find like, you know, certain people can get away with more of a certain thing. Like you take Don Lemon and Bill O'Reilly, like Bill O'Reilly just can't get away with nearly as much because he's a creepy old white guy, you know, whereas Don
Yeah, but-
Lemon's like
Yeah.
not a creepy
But
old white guy.
Mighty Librarian, do you realize that Chris Cuomo got fired for doing the same exact thing as like Bill O'Reilly? Like
Yeah.
it was sexual harassment.
Well, I thought he
So,
was fired
yep.
because of his brother. Like he was getting
No.
he was
No, I mean
Oh, God,
well,
they're
it could've
both
been
yuck.
that, but there was a
They're both
sexual
yuck.
harassment. There was somebody that got a lot of money for the sexual harassment by Chris Cuomo as well. So he's involved with the whole Jeff Tucker at CNN thing. So there's a Me Too thing with like Chris Cuomo as well. That's why he's on the network he's on now. But it's like these guys are being re-platformed, and I'm like, who's paying for it?
somebody.
So
Can we call Don Lemon Don LePew now? Like,
that's good.
It's kind of weird because
Godfrey with a zinger from the
all these
from the
guys
four
CNN
corners of
are
Colorado.
Godfrey off the top rope.
right?
Most,
Now, have you done like
Yeah.
he literally put his hand down his pants and said, "Do you like want some of this?" So yeah, he's Don LePew.
I mean, they're
Man.
all CNN too, right? They were all CNN.
well, Bill
Pretty
O'Reilly
much.
wasn't,
Yeah,
Bill O'Reilly was
yeah,
Fox.
so-
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Tubin was
yeah.
just
Bill
a
They're all
O'Reilly.
trash.
Bill O'Reilly was Fox, but Bill O'Reilly was the top of the game. Like he was Fox for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like he was the top guy.
Wasn't
And he
I
was
mean, he
doing-
was there when Roger Ailes was still there, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Like
He was their Tucker at that time.
yeah.
that 8 o'clock
Roger
spot. They
Ailes
can't-
basically covered for all that.
Just the fact we've made Tubin into a verb.
Yep.
Dude,
Speaking of,
I mean,
Not
he
even
is
the fun
exactly.
kind of tubing. It's not like you're tubing down the Guadalupe River. You
No,
know,
not
it's
that
not
kind.
that kind of tubing.
Or like consensual tubing. It's like being forced. I couldn't even imagine being on the other end of that Zoom call. Like
yeah. Speaking of, I was actually going to get onto that because basically he did the same thing that Louis C.K. did, but he did it on a bigger scale.
Right.
in front of like Condé Nast, like bigwigs, you know, they own a lot of different news publications, and they own, I think, or they, I don't know the dynamics of Condé Nast, but I think Tubin was a writer, legal writer for the New Yorker, which falls under that umbrella, so he lost his job there, but he was on the Zoom call was with those like executives from Condé Nast, and they're huge. If you don't know who they are, they're a huge magazine publisher, and they have their own.
Bon Appetit magazine.
Yeah, like they
one of them?
have
Yeah.
a lot of shit under their umbrella now, but yeah, so that's basically it.
We got a question
I
from
don't-
Vixen on Blue in the chat asking exactly
I was fixing to
because of
answer that.
the oh, go ahead because
Because
no,
how many hundreds was his hog? And I was like, he probably don't even have like even a quarter.
we literally
Of
have D singing the Hunter's Hog song.
Yeah.
What we do.
We do. We
I'm gonna make another
do. We reeby do even.
Sorry, guys.
Looking for
There's
hog
always
in
always
all
on
the
my
wrong places.
mind.
Looking for hog. See, that could be a new one.
Hey, look, I made it.
Tony!
There he
Tiki
is.
Tony in the
Yay!
house.
Oh, look at this sweet doggy.
I'm back. I'm trying to do 2 laptops with like different power sources, and my laptop died, so I apologize. So
Oh, look.
Well,
I cut
Nice
out like
t-shirt
mid
on.
pump.
because it's the
I think it was
dive
mid
bar,
pump.
baby. Nothing works right. Like that's
I
how
cut out
it
mid pump.
goes.
Doggies are welcome at the dive bar. She insists on hanging out.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We appreciate
470
we
mil.
appreciate it.
It's usually around this time she hops on my lap while I do like work or just watch TV. So I kept trying to shoo her away,
Oh
and then she
goodness,
was
no.
just not having it.
Oh
so,
no, no, no. We're not gonna.
This is Daisy.
Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with shooing away. That's part of my name. You know, shoo.
Shooby-doo. All right, Shooby-doo. Let's see what
So-
this next topic is. Why don't you go ahead and break it down?
Oh, cool.
Well, basically, I try to like think it's like a hatch act where you have a ex-politician or ex-president like entertaining foreign dignitaries at their golf resort or their hotel or their home. Like whether it's Orban, whether it's a guy from Poland, it's like, how is this not a crime? Like this is like total bullshit. Like there's an ex-president who's running to be the next president, and he's entertaining like foreign dignitaries and like doing foreign policy at a friggin' golf resort that's like hasn't been remodeled since 1981. And it's like, it's not a crime. It's not part of the Hatch Act, which part of that visual that was up is like there was 14 people in the Trump administration that were basically guilty of Hatch Act violations. But if you're president or vice president, you can't really be guilty of that. But it's like, how is this guy like 2 days ago on Wednesday night, he's at Trump Tower with Duda from Poland and they're having dinner and they're talking foreign policy and he's not even part of the friggin' government. How is that even a real thing? So like Trump's doing
it actually is illegal. It's a violation of the Logan Act.
Well, that's what I thought it was, but it says that like presidents and vice presidents aren't really in the administration guilty of it, but he's an ex-president. So is he guilty of it now?
President.
Right.
Yes.
So, but like 3 months ago, there was a UFC down in like Florida with like Milei from Argentina. He had Bolsonaro like from Brazil in Florida like 6 months ago. He's like conducting
Yeah, I remember
foreign
that.
policy. He's conducting foreign policy
Yeah.
as an ex-president. And
Y'all want to
it's-
know about the deep state?
Can
It's
we?
That's
bullshit.
it.
Can we also
And
not forget about the fact that there were secret fucking documents in his toilet?
Yeah.
Well,
So it's like
it's
to
just,
me, it like it bugged me
Boxes
that
and boxes
this
and boxes.
isn't a major crime. Like we already know he's committed a lot of crime, but like why isn't this a crime? Like these people aren't coming to America to meet with Biden. They're like meeting with Trump in Mar-a-Lago and Trump Tower, and it's like Viktor
Well,
Orban was in Mar-a-Lago a month ago, right?
It might
Like,
be
and
that
then-
like there's things going on that we don't know about. Like he
Yes,
might have
so-
been talked to about it,
A
and that
week
just
later, Orban puts it out that, hey, Trump basically, if he gets back in office, he cuts off all of Ukraine funding.
Mhm.
So that only came out like a week later. So all this stuff is going on behind the scenes. Like this is like it kind of keeps me up at night. I'm like, it just fucks with me. So that's why I want to put that out as like, topic number 2.
I want to
Let's
caveat.
discuss.
Excuse me. I want to caveat off
Make
of
your
that.
mouth
And
tiniest little asshole possible. That one picture of Trump is like his little asshole mouth.
I said I want to caveat off of what Shooby-Doo said, and point out not only that, but also, I mean, it's well proven that there were documents of the highest confidentiality at his unsecured golf clubs. I was in the military and I once had a problem where one time I put a secret document in the unclassified trash and they jumped down my asshole, set up a kiddie pool and had a lemonade. And I have absolutely no idea why Trump has been treated with the fucking pig gloves that he's been treated with when it comes to this. And
Absolutely.
And like, nobody even, sort of mentions the fact that when it comes to, him doing quote unquote foreign policy, that, I mean, he's literally inviting the dictators of the world to American soil to use the levers
Yes.
of democracy to overturn democracy. I have a problem with that.
So
Yep.
Yes,
Poland, Duda from Poland, they've been in NATO since 1999. That's 25 years. What does Trump stand for? He stands for the destruction of NATO. And this guy
Yeah.
is like meeting with him at Trump Tower on Wednesday because the guy is like in New York for something. I don't know why he's in New York, but Trump was in New York. So
Does
Why
anybody
would a
else
leader want to meet with him?
I'm disturbed by it. It's like
Because-
we need to it in a sense, but we need to like bring attention to it. Like this is not normal.
to
Yeah, no,
caveat
he's
off
ele-
of
he's-
what you was pointing about with, the fact that they're dictators, and that Trump wouldn't give their penny to Ukraine. Why do you think all of a sudden Mike Johnson grew a pair of fucking stones and decided to fund Ukraine? Like, does he not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're okay with
I personally can't figure that one
fascism
out
here.
because Mike Johnson or Micro, I don't call him Mike. He's not Mike. He's Micro Johnson. He was in
Micro.
Mar-a-Lago a week ago Friday, right? Like last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure Trump gave him like some talking points, but now he's basically like thrown those out the window. Like he's saying F you to Trump because he knows how dire it is, but like you would think he would
Yeah, it's
still
gonna
be
cost him.
walking that line.
Maybe the
He's
meeting
not.
with Trump didn't go well. Like maybe the meeting with Trump, like following Trump's orders must have a graver consequence than following what doing the right thing is.
Well,
And
some
having the
people have
legacy.
said like because Trump can't text them right now that he's able to do what he's able to do. I
Oh,
don't know about that part.
yeah,
Like
that's right.
People are saying. People are saying.
Hardened criminals.
huge. I had a massive fart today in court.
God,
The whole gallery smelt it. So
that's
I don't know.
gas.
I can't figure that part out why Johnson did what he did, but Johnson has his own issues where he's conflicted with Russia and all that. But it kind of blows my mind that like Trump is able to be or act like a foreign like dignitary in terms of entertaining all these guys. It's like that's not cool, especially as a presidential candidate.
He's
Yeah,
trying to
right.
form
So
his
I was
own
talking about-
access to powers.
I was talking about the Logan Act, and the Logan Act is actually one of the oldest laws in the country, and it forbids anyone from doing off-channel negotiations. So negotiations with any country on behalf of the United States, not through the State Department. All right.
Yeah.
And it's par for the course for Republican presidents to do this. Everybody remembers Ronald Reagan, what he did, right? Where he interfered in the Iran hostage situation
Yes.
to get himself elected. That was also a violation of the Logan Act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
I
something
literally,
apparently Republican presidents do. They're criminals.
One
I had
president
to,
at a
like,
Talk
time.
about
Yeah,
the
but
legality
man-
of the situation, right? You talk about how why is this legal? Why aren't they being charged for this, right? They figured out that they can overload the legal system by just doing anything they want to.
Yeah.
And doing
Flooding
it
the zone. Flooding the
often
zone.
enough, right? Exactly, flooding the zone with illegal activity, doing it often enough that they can get away with what they want to do
Right.
and not be held accountable until it's too late for
Yeah.
us, the American
Yes.
people. So
Yes.
that's a problem that we got to figure out how to fix.
I'll be honest with you guys. I had to amend the document today for the outline for the show because I said Logan Act, but I didn't feel confident enough that Trump was committing Logan Act violations, but I really think he is.
Oh, it is.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's trying to say that like presidents and VPs are exempt from it while they're in office, but like he's out of office,
Well,
but it's like the
He's
guy's
violated
conducting
so
foreign
many, like-
policy at a Mar-a-Lago and Trump Tower.
He's
Like-
violated so much shit.
the
It's not like
emoluments
they're
clause out the
shadow.
window, Hatch Act out the window. Like,
Yeah,
The
it's
not
mo-
like
Yep.
they're immune from it. It's just that the president and the vice president can go through the State Department and do it the correct way.
right, but they're out of office now. So how does that apply? Like,
When
I
he's
don't
out of
know.
office, he can't.
yeah, it's supposed to
Right.
be one president at a time. That's like the whole
Yeah.
idea. So like
Well,
there aren't
part
too
of
many
that
cooks in the
Skip,
kitchen.
part of the slide you threw up has 14 people that basically were guilty of Logan Act violations during Trump's administration. So I don't know if you could throw that slide back up. Yes, on the far left, bottom left.
Giuliani,
Yep.
100%. Yeah.
Those 14 people were guilty of Hatch Act violations. And that's not easy to say after you had 2 cocktails. Hatch Act.
Patch Act.
So it's a clusterfuck of like bullshit. Like, I'm sorry, like it kind of keeps me up at night, but like, you know, fascism is probably the biggest thing that keeps me up at night. So
Well,
Yeah.
that's kind of what fascism is. It's this. Like
It
his
is this.
violations, like his violations of the emoluments clause, like he's literally profiting off of the presidency.
yeah.
Like, you know, he makes way more money being president than he doesn't. And he like pretty much admits that like he you know, and it just shows like what keeps me up at night is that because he openly profits off the presidency, like okay, Truth Social is going down the toilet, right? But what happens if he
Right.
becomes president? That shit's gonna go straight up because you know
Yeah.
the Saudis want something done, so why not buy a bazillion dollars of Trump stock? Or like the Saudis even admitted to buying like 500 rooms or something at Trump at the Washington Trump
Oh,
hotel
they absolutely, yeah,
as
they
a
absolutely did.
Oh, yeah.
like people dignitaries and diplomats felt like they had to stay at the hotel or it was rude not to. So like you know that's what fascism is like, or not the exact, but like that's a practical look at what fascism is like.
Right.
That what makes a democracy is that the president can't do what the civilians can't do, you know, like that's not how it's supposed to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, and America is making a grave mistake if they do not hold him accountable for all the shit that he's done.
But like,
They
I
made
just
a
think
mistake when they didn't hold Nixon accountable.
Yeah, I
for
think
for
that
250 years we haven't had to have laws on the books that say like ex-presidents can't have foreign leaders in their office to talk about foreign policy while they're running to be president again. Like, it's so wrong. It's like I can't even get my head around how fucked up it is.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's
Well,
my
Trump's
thoughts.
been the first person to push that envelope
Yeah.
in history to literally try to get people
Absolutely.
to not follow the rules.
Well, remember when he
quickly
told
admit he's
Pence
not going to
that
follow
you're
the
too
rules.
honest?
Like,
Yeah. I mean, did you guys ever like see like video of like Bannon, like early 2017? We want to totally deconstruct the administrative
Mhm.
state. He was
Yeah.
in power with Trump. I'm like, what the fuck is he saying? Like, he wants to dismantle the whole thing. And that's what's happening now.
With Project 2025, the idea is to ensure that all the power gets centralized in the same way that they hid it behind the idea of Millet being an anarcho-capitalist. And all he basically did was just centralize power to himself, got rid of all the bureaucracy, and now look at their fucking economy. It's in the goddamn toilet because, oh my, it's almost like fascism can't govern.
and like,
6
In
months ago,
Argentina, right?
6 months ago, he platformed him at a UFC event, right? Didn't they hug it out? Like Trump and Millet at like a UFC
Yeah.
thing, and
Yep.
Millet literally like went down on Trump. Like
Yep.
he's
Kiss his ring.
and
he
what
did that,
people don't
like-
realize is that
like they
we
hugged it out.
need a bureaucracy to protect us from the the appointed folks, like
Mhm.
the people. And I know we always say bureaucrats suck, but really they're like one of the most important parts of the government, because you can't just fire them because you don't like something that they do, or they put up a fight for not doing following an unlawful order. You know,
They
like
are the
there's
government.
They are the government.
and they're protected. Why teachers used to have tenure, because like they're protected against people firing them for just teaching about ideas they don't like. So like what Project 2025 does is that it promotes this unilateral unitary
Executive
It's a
theory.
monoculture.
it's I forgot the
Unitary executive
legal
theory.
term, but basically they take a few clauses from the second article, and they say that gives the president way more power than he's supposed to, and way more power over the other branches. And like what's really scary about their dismantling of the administrative state is that they have this like database that they've been forming for years, and they encourage people to apply for the jobs that are going to be available when they fire everybody. But here's the thing, I don't think it's just to hire people, because I've looked at the applications and like, you know, I wanted to see what questions they were going to ask. And they ask you like if this is for conservatives, like they want conservatives hired, why would they ask political affiliation or how you feel you identify with? I think it's not only a database to pull potential hiring candidates, but also to find out who's going to admit that they're liberal, progressive, communist, or whatever, so that they can go after them later.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's
Sounds
already.
familiar, like
Well,
it's
I was
done
gonna say the
before.
Fashkant original. So all they're gonna do is they're just gonna really try to do a Dollar Tree version of everything that the Fash in the past have tried to do. Luckily, because they weren't smart enough to not name their nefarious plan something that sounds like a goddamn James Bond villain plan, we've been able to like talk about the fact that Project 2025 good god, doesn't it just sound ominous as fuck? Like Project 2025 is the
How do you not, when
1933
you're writing-
Enabling Act.
How do you not, when you're writing Project 2025, have that like moment where you're just like, "Are we the baddies?"
I think it's they had that moment and they were like, eh.
Or does
One
this sound
other
like
thing about
reasonable and sane?
fire.
Like it's just ridiculous.
Tony
The book burners were always the bad guys.
Tiki Tony actually said something earlier about the Russian trip to, you know, on July 4th. And you know, he makes a really great point about that because I mean, dude, go ahead and elaborate on that because as far as I'm concerned, like that was just like one giant honeypot operation waiting to happen.
Oh yeah, it was 7 Russians that went there. Granger from Texas, Hovind from North Dakota, our favorite Senator Kennedy,
No, why
Ron
would
Johnson,
Kennedy want to go to Soviet Union?
Moran from Kansas, Shelby from Alabama, Daines from Montana, and Thune, always a popular one from Dakota.
Scott.
And yeah. And you hear about some of these, but some of them you don't. So what are these others are, you know, what have they been doing since kind of thing? And they downplayed it back then, and they immediately still did the same thing. They were all part of the MAGA operation for January 6th, voting against the election certification. It's all been the plan. So when we talk about Project 2025 now, we can tell you, we told you so 7 years ago, we saw this. Mm-hmm. And they've been downplaying it ever since. The media's been downplaying it ever since. So when we look at the media today and we go, oh, look, CNN pointed something out today that's obvious because the guy's on fucking fire. Yeah, 7 years ago, they were going, okay, bye, because they don't want to have to do this. But now we're forcing it down their throats. And they have to pay attention that these are fucking traitors.
Fuck nuggets.
Well, they're seeing their rights being taken away, and right before their eyes.
And once it goes away, we don't get them back.
No,
like,
it's
not like we had them.
It's the general rule of civics that once a right is given, it's hard to take it back. But once it's taken, it's hard to get it back.
And one other quick thing I wanted to add about Project 2025 and the administrative state is there's also a bureaucracy of government employees that work from administration to administration for pure efficiency. So like it's hard if you have like I think there's about 4,000 people that are appointed, and then there's probably another within the executive branch I'm talking about. There's another like few thousand that are always, they're government employees. They go from administration to administration. So like, let's say, you have somebody on like, policy from some random country, and they've been working on that their entire careers. They're experts on policy from random country X. And then you fire them because you don't think they're going to be a yes man. Well, you put somebody else in that place who doesn't have the expertise. The position's vacated, so the job's not getting done. And then if you don't like that person that you finally hired to replace the person that had the expertise in the first place, then it's this rotating realm of inefficiency. So you think it's inefficient, the bureaucracy of government is inefficient now. Wait till you see when the president can just fire somebody on a whim, and like it's just like the organization of government. Like just based on that, everything will go to the shitter, because when you fire thousands of people all at once, thinking you can replace them real easily, well, first of all, you can't. Then you have to develop all new workflows and processes. Like these processes took decades to build. And could it be reformed? Absolutely. I'm sure there's tons of shit that they could do that, would, make so much more sense. But a lot of times when you're dealing with federal government, especially, it's so enormous that just the entirety of just the institution of federal governments, that like you create an even bigger problem firing everybody, trying to make it more efficient.
Yeah.
So the firings at the RNC are the practice round for that on this go around, because they already did the first round of firings when Trump got into the office in 2017. So RNC now is like, okay, what can we do in this moment to practice for that project?
And it's not the same thing. Like nonprofits and government aren't the same thing. Right. So they're not gonna.
I know. Right, I know, but like that's what they're like. That's what they're showing us that they can do.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't mean like, I just meant like they're stupid for that, like because it's such a small scale. Like what are they hoping to glean from that? No, I totally agree. That's exactly what they're doing, is a practice round. A good way to describe it for if they come back into power. But it's a stupid practice round because it's like apples and oranges. Like how can you glean anything from like they can't even fascist, right?
Well, I genuinely hate to say it, but the reason that a fascist bureaucracy works is because everybody works out of fear. Because you don't get fired, you get taken out back and fucking shot.
Yeah, just imagine the unmitigated disaster it could have been when if we didn't have these permanent members in the government when Biden took office and Trump's administration just refused to tell them anything. They just walked out and said, "Fuck you." They didn't brief them.
Great point. So without,
he refused to do the transition for months.
Yeah, without those other people, Biden would have just walked in blind and been like, it would have taken him weeks to figure out what was going on.
They stopped communicating with the Biden administration.
Right before the election, and they cut him off.
I think that's their plan. They keep trying to get rid of the Department of Education. They keep trying to get rid of like the FDA or any kind of oversight of anything, so they can do anything they want. Thanks to COVID, you see how much they wanted to get rid of Fauci and everything that had to do with health and everything like that. And again, brings up trying to just ruin healthcare for everybody in every way, shape, or form. women's health. I want to say
Hey,
Obamacare.
Before we go on to section 3, Skip, why don't you ask like the chat what's going on if they have questions
Yeah,
and what's
yeah, Twitch chat, we
what's up?
got you up there. Pretty talkative.
Or
Hey to
actually, Tony's
Vixen.
the chat fluffer. You want to do it, Tony?
Yeah. We got Nat's Girl in there.
Give
we
us
got
the good
Vixen in
stuff.
there. Farmley's in there. So thanks for hanging out. They're very talkative tonight. Serenity is in there. Jesse James is in there. Ratchet, as always. What's up, Michael? Any questions for us?
Any questions from the chat?
Vixen agrees. Disbanded or gutting things. Triple Eight, the house says fear and loyalty. Remember those loyalty questionnaires for future administration? Yep.
Yeah. And remember how he wanted loyalty from Comey?
Well, don't
Yeah.
And I think
don't forget about the fact that all fucking Millie did was warn China, hey, we might be going haywire here during Jan 6, but we're not gonna go haywire on y'all. That's all he did was tell them that. And like now he's being like framed as like this national traitor because all he did was, honest to God, like, you know, rat. I don't even call it rat. Inform another country about Trump's dicketry that he has going on currently.
Which is part of his job. Like that's that's the whole point of the chairman and joint chiefs.
Exactly.
Like
Do you guys remember a gentleman named Tom Metziger? He was the head of the White Aryan Resistance.
oh yeah. I was like, where do I know
The
that name from?
skinheads.
Yeah,
The
now it's
skinheads.
Oh, I was like, what?
Before he died, he told all of his skinheads to grow their hair and get educated and get jobs in the government. And this is who we're fighting now. Are skinheads that are educated.
Notice they don't walk around like in swastikas and clan hoods anymore because that
Nope.
actually gives away their power level. And the most important thing is not to give away your power level. That's why all they're doing now is they are running for office under the idea that the election was stolen from Trump. So pretty much anyone that is running and saying that is a plant from that whole kind of like white Christian nationalist sect.
Yep.
I was going to say, not
they're
all
in the
skinheads-
house, guys. They're in our government.
The fox
skinheads
are in the
are
hen
their
house.
back.
All right, one more question from Serenity. What do you guys think about why Trump was talking about preferring getting eaten by a shark versus electrocuted? Do you think he's scared of getting the death penalty?
I think he was
money?
just riffing because he needed to, like, you know, he's just, you know, I mean, when you're an entertainer, you work the crowd, and he's just not really good at crowd work per se. That's just my opinion.
I think he's scared of everything.
A shark is more like bite, electrocuted, you're dead instantly. So I think maybe it's a quick death compared to a longer death. And he knows he's in for a longer death. That's what I think that is.
electrocution is pretty gruesome though, like especially if
Right.
they don't
It's,
do
but
it
it's
right.
instantaneous in terms of you're dead
Yeah.
within 5 seconds.
Haven't you ever seen The Green Mile?
Shark bite,
Oh,
it's
God.
gonna
Yeah,
take
the Green
like
Mile. That's
minutes.
heartbreaking.
Or
Yeah, but, like,
Shocker.
we already
Who
know it's like
remembers
setting yourself on
Shocker?
fire.
Ew, yeah, lighting
Wait,
yourself. Oh, gosh.
Shocker?
No, the 80s horror movie. I used to be in a band called Reverend D. Ray and the Shockers, no joke.
You want to come up?
Definitely.
Is Daisy gonna make an appearance?
I don't know. She's looking at me like I you can come
She's
up.
thinking about it.
Oh.
I
What kind of dog is that?
I have no idea. She's like probably some terrier mix. I'd
Kind
love
of
to
looks like a
doggy-
terrier. The face.
like I'd love to do a doggy DNA test because she's got like the paws of like a chihuahua, and the ears of a chihuahua, but she's got like the face, and she has like that you know black circle around the eye, like the what is it? The target
Like a
dog.
rude dog.
Oh, like
Yeah,
from the Little Rascals.
Yeah, I mean, you can't see it. It's like her skin, like her
Aw.
you can't see it on camera, but like
Like
if
the
you saw in
Target
person,
dogs.
what's that?
Scooby-Doo, Target. Target.
Yeah,
No,
so
Every
like
time I hit
I really have
Target.
no
I
idea.
love
Oh,
Target
seriously,
too.
every time I hit the Target like emoji, I want to go to Target. Is that weird? Like, am I
No,
being
I love
weird?
Yeah,
Target.
that's branding.
I love Target. Don't let me go to Target.
Okay. One more comment and one
Okay.
more question, and then we can move on. Farmley says, "Make no mistake, our national security has already been sold." I agree with that one. And then Vixen has a question. Natscrow has a question. How fast will they disband the bureaucracy when they take over? And my response
Day one.
to that one is, yeah.
They won't.
They won't.
Yeah, my response to that, I think, goes along with another conversation we had back in book club today. Was how long will it take us to win enough seats so we can fix everything so they can't mess it up?
Actually, I want to caveat off that. I did say day one, but I do want to point out that very, very recently, the Biden administration has been passing some legislation that is going to ensure that they can't just swap bureaucracy out in Project 2025 style in case they do win. Like they're safeguarding the guardrails.
I don't think Trump will care though. Like
I don't think
they've
they're gonna
made it
listen.
clear, like the Heritage Foundation within the whole document, if you read the whole document, they've kind of made it clear that they'll bypass Congress in any way possible. I'm sure that means circumventing the Constitution.
I was thinking it's like you're expecting Trump to stop breaking the law. like he gives a fuck. He's not gonna be like, oh,
How does
I
that
can't
make-
do that? That's illegal.
That doesn't make any sense.
I just
Nope.
want someone to snatch his hair off of his head and just see what happens.
It'll run away.
Vixen on Blue
Yeah.
says
Yeah.
that the military won't go along with him. And that's really, I mean, it's so hard to
won't.
break down the chain of command. Coming from, I know
It
Vixen
really
is
is.
a veteran and I'm a veteran myself. The moment that there's even murmurings amongst any of the lower to mid, because certainly it's not just going to be the upper, because you need the lower and the mid ranks to pull it off. If there's any kind of murmur about dissension whatsoever, somebody's job is to report that you are, talking about executing unlawful orders, for lack of better words.
Yeah, and like one thing I gotta say about I'm not really sure. I think our military doctrine has been like built over several decades and probably even a century. But like our military, the way it's structured, was absolutely the most brilliant thing I think I don't know who's mainly responsible for it, but like because in any other country, it is so easy to use the military to take over power. But like within the United States, because of the culture that we built within the army, I mean, not just the army, the entire military, and within like, swearing allegiance to a document versus swearing allegiance to a president or even the flag, like it changed the culture and trajectory to how our armed forces operate. And I think not just for seizing power, but also with, operating more professionally. I think we have probably the most professional army military in the world. Like you never hear, I mean, of course
For sure.
soldiers have committed atrocities, what army and military hasn't, but you don't hear the war crimes like nearly like what Russia is committing and how unprofessional they are. And there's no NCO corps. Like, whereas, like in Russia, the general says, take that hill, and you have to go up the hill to take it.
Well,
And they will die trying to take that hill by going straight up it. Whereas the US Army allows NCOs to like say, all right, the general says we need to take that hill. But you know what? That's not smart. Let's go around it this way and then take the hill, and then we'll take it. And then that, so like I just think it's brilliant the way I mean, of course there's flaws, of course
Take
there's
the
problems.
hill, me boys. Take the hill, me boys.
well, the chain
Yeah,
of command is a brilliant structure because it makes it so that the person you report to is the one rank above you. And that's it.
Right.
You don't have, if you try to skip the chain of command whatsoever, you're put down like it's nothing. And because of that, it makes it so that you can't have dissension in the ranks from the lowest to the mid. There can be no conspiring because
Between the general and the lowest guy.
right,
The general
right,
can't
exactly.
get the lowest dudes to follow him, really, because there's that long chain of command that.
Well, correct,
can't
because
be
the
broken.
top brass knows that they are dedicated to the Constitution, and then the chain of command flows downwards. And if at any given time you try to A, subvert the Constitution, or B, try to skip the chain of command, the way that the military is structured is to ensure, like, that's why you said why we don't have coups, is because we have that chain of command.
Well, I just want to say something right now.
Taking a hill. Are you
I
talking
wanna
about
say
taking a hill? I was
something
just thinking
now.
of what Trump said. He's like, "Don't fight uphill, General Lee."
God, yeah.
I'm actually spicy mayo.
Oh,
Oh.
that explains a lot.
Ding 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 ding
I'm
ding
Miracle
ding.
Whip.
Missile launch. Pew.
That's me.
Pew 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 pew.
This is psyop. The whole deal is a psyop. I'm spicy mayo.
Haha,
I did everything right and they indicted me.
that is so funny. Like
I'm
the whole
just fucking
spicy
with
mayo
you.
spicy thing is so funny.
It really
I
is.
can't
Dumbest
even.
shit I've seen in like 10 years.
Yeah, that is the dumbest. Yeah, of all the shit that they've come up with, that of the trolls
Anyway,
with Tony,
I had to throw
that
that
one
out.
takes the cake.
Whatever. I'm kind of the host, right? I'm kind of co-hosting with Skip, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All I know is that everything that you've brought up has brought up some super great spicy conversation. And moving on to our third topic, my friends. Here we are. Hey, Shooby-Doo, give us the lowdown.
Oh no.
Well, basically, you got like a bunch of right-wing organizations trying to dismantle like our democracy, right? Like,
Mhm.
if you look at Heritage Foundation, Federal Society with Supreme Court, Turning Point USA with Charlie Kirk, CPAC with Matt Schlapp, all these orgs are trying to like dismantle our democracy. It literally keeps me up at night. I am so like,
Well, the
pissed off about
terrifying part is how much money is behind it, but the best part is they try to organize like they did in the 30s because the Fashcan original. But
Yeah.
what they didn't have in the 30s was the internet. Now, don't get me wrong, the internet can be used for the Fash to reach a lot of people that don't need to be reached with a lot of messages that don't need to be gotten out there, but also it gives us the opportunity to do shows like this, or Tony to do shows like his, to refute all of the nonsense that's going on in a way that people who don't give a good goddamn about facts and stats and data and all that can listen to what we're talking about or what Tony's talking about and have a laugh and get the message. Because honest to God, mockery is our best weapon against these bastards because it delegitimizes their power. Like, seriously, like all the Trump humping fuck nuggets right now, like they have to defend the fact that Trump farts in court.
And you
That's
know
mocking
what?
them. You just gotta mock
You know
them
what
for
helps
that.
me sleep a little bit though when it comes to like, because if I think about it and all the money behind these conservative groups and think tanks and all that stuff, like, and I didn't come up with this idea. I heard it on one of those podcasts, but it's such a good point that okay, you have someone like Charlie Kirk going to college campuses trying to corrupt the minds of the youth, right? But then he brings somebody like what's his face, Kyle Rittenhouse, to speak, to get to relate to college students. Kyle Rittenhouse never went to college. He did so bad on the the Marines test that they told him never to apply again. He is hated by most, and Charlie Kirk thinks that that's the dude who's gonna get all these college students to like come and vote Republican.
One thing he's doing is promoting birth control just by looking at Charlie fucking Kirk.
Right? And like, so these people,
Whoa! Thanks for coming to our campus to promote birth control.
these
The
people are
reason why
incompetent is what I'm
that's-
getting. They make
Yeah.
stupid decisions. And so like they're not being taken seriously, you know, even within their own group. Like who really takes Matt Schlapp seriously? Like, yeah, he still wields a bit of power within the, you know, MAGA crowd, but everyone's thinking about what he did.
Yeah, we're all
You know-
thinking about getting slapped.
They're thinking it too. They won't admit it, but they're thinking about it.
And
and
they're funded by
hiring-
CCP.
Yes, they are.
CPAC? Oh yeah. CCP.
Like Matt
pack.
Schlapp puts on a good.
Sorry,
party
Mighty
with an open
Librarian. I just had to
bar,
pull
right?
that up.
Thanks,
Go
Obama.
over to his house
Right.
to drink, right?
Yeah.
They're all domestic
That's how he's
terrorists.
keeping around. Yeah.
So fucking stupid.
It's like, goddamn, how stupid do you have to be to fail the ASVAB like Rittenhouse did?
So poorly that they told him never to apply again. I forgot what the
Yeah.
the technical term for it is, but like that has to be pretty bad. Like, yeah, that has to be really bad.
Yeah, because I
And-
was in the Navy with people who got into the Navy because they scored enough on the ASVAB to be able to chase poo through a pipe. So for him to fail that, that's really bad.
Yeah.
And you know, like if you want to bring people to your side, like college educated people, you have to use somebody that isn't Kyle Rittenhouse. You know what I mean? He drives visceral negative emotion to more than half the population. So why don't you find somebody that doesn't draw that, like, you know, that anger and protest? Like, I think Charlie Kirk thought it would be a good thing because it brings attention, but it really doesn't. All it does is make independents and people who don't follow politics like us, you know, they think, what the fuck? You know,
I'll
like,
just go with the fucking army since he likes to shoot people. And
Oh,
shit.
no. I've met way too many of those people that were like, bro, if a drill sergeant got in my face, I'd fucking lay him out. And then that's their idea. That's
no, you
that's their
wouldn't.
excuse as to
And
why
it's
they
like, no,
don't
you
join the
wouldn't, asshole.
military.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't, because you'd be thrown in the.
It's like, I get it.
Ridiculous.
You're too
Freaked
big a
out.
pussy to sign on the dotted line. I get it.
Yeah.
love the people
yeah.
that are like, I almost joined the Marines. No, you didn't.
No,
Almost.
No,
you
you
don't
Ted Cruz
almost join.
especially.
I was
You
almost a
didn't almost
Rockefeller
join.
once.
Yeah, no, like, and I've never served in the military. I babysat a soldier for 6 years, so I think that kind of technically counts. I'm kidding though, obviously, but like, I realize why I didn't sign down the dotted line, because I'm not a good person to have on. Like, I don't like to run is really why I didn't even think about joining the military. But like, it's okay if you didn't want to join the military. It's
Yeah.
volunteer. Like, you don't have to join, but don't make it sound like, you know, like if you didn't join, don't try to sound like Billy Badass, like thinking it makes you look good by saying, I almost joined.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
about it. Like, that doesn't make you look any better. Just say, hey, I just, you know, I opted for a different path, and leave it at that. Don't try to,
Yeah.
like, you know, you didn't join the Marines. That's the point. Like,
I can say I almost joined because I actually got into the Air Force Academy, which means I had to apply and all that, but like, I still didn't do it. Like, no, I don't want to be in the military.
That's a
Yeah, I
commitment,
would not
man.
do well in the military because I am not about to have somebody in my face yelling at me because I know who I am.
yeah,
I'm gonna
I
be
know how I
like,
am.
Yep.
Hell to the no.
Shuby, I was gonna bring up another point that you had just brought up as part of this conversation of projects and stuff that goes into right-wing media and the right-wing talking points and stuff. And a fairly popular one was PragerU. But when I looked into it, the highest funding for PragerU comes from Dan and Ferris Wilks, two brothers out of Texas who are rich from fracking. They're oil mangates. But they spend most of their money on the Heritage Foundation, so it's the same. It's the
group.
same circle. So
God, freaking Heritage Foundation.
I regret, and honestly, you want to. Joseph Coors is one of the co-founders of the Heritage Foundation. Yes, the Coors that invented the beer, which is now an adamant supporter of LGBTQ rights.
You know what the best part is?
He must be.
The guy who invented Coors, his name is Adolf. Adolf.
I got a
Coors.
good story about the beers.
Yeah,
Say
Pete
that again.
Coors actually ran as a Republican in Colorado for a Senate seat a while
He
back.
did.
Yeah.
He did.
Well, on this
He lost.
topic, we haven't even touched on the Federalist Society with like Leonard Leo.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Can we
Who's
start
corrupted
calling the
the
Heritage
Supreme
Foundation the
Court.
Handmaid's Foundation? Can that be like a thing we
And
do
Judge
now?
Cannon.
I don't see why not. Maybe we can
I mean,
rebrand their logo.
Leonard Leo is basically like corrupted the Supreme Court.
Oh yeah,
That's
Harlan
why
Hitler,
there's,
Harlan Crow for
6
those of you playing along at
justices versus
home.
3. So I mean, it kind of fits into that whole graphic of like right-wing orgs that are trying to dismantle our democracy.
Yeah.
Actively.
And let's not forget, Robert Hur is a member of the Federalist Society and lied about it to Congress.
Mm-hmm.
In case
And Cannon too, right?
you're playing at home, make sure to watch the part 1 and part 2 of the Robert Hur hearing that we did commentary on, and read the comments.
That was
Oh,
fun.
the comments triggered them.
I wish we could do more commentary on things like that because that was fun.
Well, all I have to do is keep pulling their fucking stupid circus hunter hog hearings, and we're there to make the content, baby.
Look at that big black box.
But out of topic number 3, Project 25 is probably the biggest with Heritage Foundation. That's the biggest like key on what's going on. Like
Project 2025. Understand these 2 words. Understand them. Brand them. Put them in your head. Google them. Understand everything about it, because it's the 1933 Enabling Act that made Germany into a centralized power, made Adolf Hitler as chancellor into the supreme ruler of Germany. This is what Project 2025 is. Please, if you're listening to this, you turn on the Google machine and listen.
Some of the authors of the chapters, some of them you've never heard of. Some of them you definitely have. Like,
please read that chick. Please read it, everybody.
Miller. No, not Christopher Miller. The DOD secretary.
Stephen.
Thank you.
Stephen Miller.
Stephen Miller.
The
one,
classiest people.
His last Department of Defense guy, who didn't respond to Jan 6 and,
Chris Miller?
He had another Miller.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Chris Miller?
Okay.
Chris Miller.
Christopher Miller is defense.
The DOD defense, the last one Trump had.
Yeah.
Okay,
Very
it was Chris
researchable.
Okay.
Stephen Miller is a blind Nazi.
Yeah, Stephen Miller is the staging grounds, as in concentration camps. If we win Project 2025, Chris Miller is. We refuse to call the National Guard, and we also issued a document that said, "Take it easy on the Trumpers." Yes, those of you MAGA that are listening, go ahead and look up Chris Miller's testimony under oath.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Then we also have Peter Navarro writing about economic policy. Then we have which he made up a pseudonym.
Wait, is he writing about cigarette economics?
he wrote about basically tariffs and how nobody will retaliate against US if we put a tariff on them, but they all of course retaliated. Peter Navarro made up an anagram of his name so that when he was writing about why his economic ideas are good, he cited that source, and then someone figured it out, okay? And mainstream economists apparently make fun of him all the time. All the friggin' time.
Now he's trying to figure
So-
out how many cigarettes it takes for a honey bun.
Yeah. And making prison pizza.
I don't have a big Twitter following, but I tweeted last night like
But he knows what
orange
a
is
prison wallet is.
orange is a new executive privilege. So orange is a new
Hey, Peter
executive
Navarro,
privilege.
do you think you can do a YouTube tutorial on how to make a grilled cheese with a fucking iron?
That dude is the biggest dumbass of all time. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, I thought Aaron Rodgers was like up there. Like, this guy's like,
Yeah, way to
further out there
outlive
than Aaron
Peter
Rodgers.
Navarro. And then who else do we have? We have Dr. Ben Carson, you know, Mr. HUD's secretary who didn't know basic.
That the
Real
dude's a brain
estate.
surgeon. That's a little scary.
Actually, he performed one of the first brain separation surgeries on conjoined twins. Like, he's very like famous in the neurosurgery field.
But enough about Lindsey
but yeah.
Graham and
Should've just-
Trump.
Should have just stayed there.
And so, yeah, those are just a few characters that have written chapters that they really know nothing about, that are affecting our lives, and, you know.
Like, I don't know, like the Handmaid's Foundation really thinks that they have this sewn in, and I really hate to piss on their rainbow, changing the colors, thus not making it a rainbow anymore. But I'm pretty sure that an 1864 decision that just happened in Arizona just pretty much leveled their chances of getting the fascist theocracy
They
they
should have
dreamed
never. That was a poor strategy to release their plans well before the election. Like, that was a really dumb thing, because I don't know how they thought that that would be popular, but like, who's ever advising them, or they probably just advise each other like they're in their own echo chamber. So like,
It's a circle advisement.
it's a circle jerk advisement, you know, probably.
It's a series of
And-
Tubins.
Yes, exactly. They're
4G
doing a
slash-
tubing.
Meeting.
Because like it made no sense. Like, why would you give the left now the opportunity to fight against it, and you know that most of your shit ain't gonna be popular with the American people? Like so, or maybe they didn't think anybody would notice or care. But I think that really kind of backfired on them a bit.
Well, I think that there was a huge portion of the dark web saying that is the most base thing that Arizona could have possibly done, when they don't actually realize what they did is shot themselves in the dick for the upcoming election. Because if I'm not mistaken, let's take a look at Ruben Gallego's numbers right about now compared to Kerry Lake's.
Yeah.
Okay?
And
He's-
Nevada
I
just
think he's
put
now
abortion
leading,
on the
right?
ballot.
I saw
Oh wow,
he's
I didn't know
leading
that.
now.
And speaking of Kerry Lake,
yeah.
is it just me or her defamation suit went completely ass up? Because is it just me? But when MAGA's bullshit seems to actually hit the reality of the scales of justice, and where evidence is actually, important, it all just fizzles smooth the fuck away. Because when you build your entire platform on a house of cards, all it takes is, I don't know, one Trump fart in court to blow it all down.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Goodness. Yeah,
There were
that's
definitely sharks mixed in there too.
yeah. He definitely stained some underwear.
When the judge
Diaper.
says
I feel sorry for
noxious
us to do his
fumes, that's when
laundry.
you're winning. I just love the fact that the left mainstream media, and I'm talking about like MSNBC, I'm talking about the folks who are the quote unquote left mainstream media, now have carte blanche to use the word fart in court. I'm sorry, the words fart in court as part of integral journalistic reporting.
God. What, like, think about what they're reporting on. An ex-president on trial for like doing some bullshit with money, hush money, to a porn star that he had an affair with. A few days after Melania, his wife, gives birth to his son, and he farts in court, and that's a national story. Like,
Yep.
what the fuck has gone? Like, why? Like, we need to get out of this timeline, guys. How do we get out? How do we get out of this timeline?
Honestly, I hate to
Easy.
say it, but we use it. We mock.
Use it.
I mean,
Yeah.
if,
Oh, yeah,
if,
of
if
course,
they're
but, like-
providing us with this nonsense to completely delegitimize their bullshit, to not take advantage of this is, it's missing.
Oh no, yeah.
Criminal.
It's
I just
missing
think
the
it's
target.
horrible that we're like, this is the state of like we're.
Oh
like,
yeah, it
I
fucking
remember the
sucks.
days- Like, I remember the days when like what the big story about the president or an ex-president were, and now we're talking about like just like this. You can't even make this shit up. And like I would. How do we get to the parallel universe? Like, let's all. Do we have any physicists that could help us? Like, maybe if we think
No, I
really
think-
hard.
Like, did our flux
think our twist on
capacitor
this-
stop fluxing? What's going on here?
We just
I
click
think
our
our-
heels 3 times and we say,
Glory be to
Welcome to the palate
Fine.
cleanser portion of the
Quick time on your
program.
face. Chef's kiss on that.
Definitely.
It went right perfectly on your face.
I think I'm going to turn this one into, he wasn't just farting, because part of the report is that his lawyers were fucking dying. I think he filled the diaper.
Mm-hmm. He's
God.
mad.
Gross.
Not
Man.
good.
So just like Three Toes,
I'm full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Ooh. I'm waiting for the all caps rant at like 2 that says, I do not wear a diaper. I use the toilet just like everybody else. It's golden.
I have the
Obama.
most magnificent toilet, the most beautiful toilet.
And I take
So-
the most magnificent shits in said toilet, not a diaper.
Sometimes it takes 10, 15 flushes when I'm not putting documents down there.
Tony said chat.
Nobody
fluffer. You
shits
got
more
anything,
than I
Tony,
do.
from
I'm pretty
chat?
sure
Come on.
actually down at the bottom of the end of those 10 to 15 flushes where you actually found his like fucking healthcare plan and infrastructure plan too.
Yeah.
Like-
See Dark Brandon the other day? That was excellent. He was talking about the infrastructure.
Dark
plan.
Brandon has been unleashed,
Right.
motherfuckers. Like straight up.
He's just
Oh
like, yeah,
God, I love Biden
got-
Harris headquarters Twitter
We got
account.
the chat
It's hilarious.
fluffer going. Come
Oh,
on.
yeah.
so good.
Come on.
yeah.
Let
He
Tony
said
do his
Trump
thing.
promised us infrastructure week after week after,
After
week. It's like, It's like, yeah, that's it. There you go. And then Biden got it done. Well, some of
It's
it,
almost
not all of
like
it.
I really do want the debate to happen because all Biden would do was sit there and smile. And then the moment after Trump got done saying some shit, he'd go, okay, then they'd be like, your chance to respond. And he'd be like, okay, then why has the stock market been like the highest it's been? And, you know, unemployment's the lowest it's been. Black unemployment's the lowest it's been. The middle class has actually had an opportunity. Unions have never had more support. You know, I mean, sure. Okay, Donald, how many people? Oh, I forgot you had cheap gas for the fucking frozen morgue trucks.
Yeah. It obviously wasn't to move toilet paper because that
Burnt.
God.
Well, the difference is like Biden can be like, look, I did this. Here it is. There fucking is. See that? Those are numbers. You can't gaslight that shit. See that? That's legislation. You can't gaslight that shit. Now, what do you got, Trump?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see here. You have 91
91
felonies, 4
He's-
indictments.
No. It's only 88. It's only 88.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
88.
His
Yeah,
base's
there you go.
favorite fucking
Winning,
number.
Winning.
He needs
Yeah.
to take.
But
Biden needs to learn
it's going to
from.
be 91
oh,
once like Vanny gets back into it.
4 indictments, 3 paid off porn stars, 2 impeachments, and a
diaper.
And a diaper full of his
Oh.
trial.
Burnt.
Yeah, unfortunately, he wasn't the one getting burnt at his trial today.
No, the only thing getting burnt was Trump's lawyer's fucking nostril hairs. It's like
Getting
a Ren and
grabbed by the
Stimpy
nostrils and his
cartoon.
Brain coming out. Like it's,
Yeah,
So
But I bet it was
Flavor.
just like the SpongeBob episode where SpongeBob makes the onion and shit Sunday because he didn't have ice cream. And and Patrick can't smell, but and they're going everywhere, and everybody's and he can't understand, like, because that fucking Sunday,
Skip, come back.
onion.
Come back, Skip. Come back. So who's the chat fluffer? Any more questions? Well, what's going
Come
on?
on, chat.
Oh, we're
give
just
give us
going
the
in
good
there.
stuff, because it's the palate portion, the palate cleansing portion of the program
right.
where we've all been imbibing.
Yeah, I've shot my wad. I'm done.
Yep.
Serenity has a true social post from Trump. It says, I used the toilet 10 to 15 times today, and I pulled up my pants all by myself. Fake news.
I just imagine every time he uses the toilet, it's like Butters, where he like takes it all the way down to his ankles. He just like and the long giant like tie, like he doesn't even think to like throw it over his shoulder. He just like hopes he doesn't pee on it.
Same comment as we were talking before. Biden Harris H2 across all platforms. Fire. They are sharing.
It is.
They are doing the right type of work.
Yeah,
Whoever
you
does
can
their
tell
social
that
media.
they've
They have
been
a good group, people.
reading Rachel Bitticoffer's book.
Jesse James got a good question. Oh no, 888 The House has this question. His lawyers are probably thinking, what the hell does this motherfucker eat?
Crappy
Is it
ass
just
fast
Big Macs?
food.
Yeah, and 12 Diet Cokes a day, apparently.
I know he doesn't
I
eat
fast
cue
food.
balls.
I don't smell that bad.
How in the world can, like, wow.
The jury's sitting there smelling Big Macs.
And a
Sally's
good
bacon
follow-up
brownies.
earlier, Nats Girl says, if the military isn't going to follow Trump, who's going to set up the detention camp?
Militias. White Christian nationalist militias.
Yeah.
The Proud Boys, the 3%ers,
They're gonna be like
the Oath
the
Keepers.
worst.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like full of. They're gonna suck. They're gonna be like in Fallout 4. If you played Fallout 4, you just like slap stuff together to make a compound
And
for
they'll-
yourself.
And I'm sure there will be military that if the actual military isn't doing anything, there will be people who somehow try to get themselves out so that they can go be the worst that they possibly can be in a detention camp.
So,
Yeah.
And I want some ideas from the chat. So we're going to have the Handmaids Foundation. We have Trader Pack already. We need another name for a couple of the others.
Can I suggest, like, when someone steals someone else's background, that there's a penalty?
Oh, hey. No, it's a nice background.
Burning Cross, USA.
I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, Mighty.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at you.
I
I'm
didn't
looking at you,
know.
Mighty.
I'm sorry. I'll hang my head in shame.
I like
yeah.
CCP Pack, too.
CCP Pack.
Oh, yeah, that's clever. I dig
What
that.
they are.
Get slapped by CCP Pack.
Get slapped.
Yeah, he was part of the topic 3. The CPAC is part of that whole dismantling democracy thing.
He was part of topic
Oh, yeah.
1, too. We got Me Too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, most of my topics kind of like blended together.
No, that's
Yeah,
good.
It's just
Can
all
you put that back up?
Republican
What other
dicketry.
ones do we have?
when you talk about
All right.
Republicans and verified rapists, there's going to be a whole lot of crossover.
Oh yeah, it's like a fucking Venn diagram.
Except it's a circle.
Oh,
Fucking Skip was fucking going off.
All right,
Yeah.
chat, get them in there because it's about that time.
Last questions. Let's go. Let's go.
Any
Fucking
last
bring it.
questions? Twitter. GOP, poorly coordinated dicketry from Vixen.
Not bad.
Church. All righty, gang. Well, thank you so much for hanging out for episode 6 of the Bar of Democracy.
Episode 6.
Alright,
Episode
Thanks
6.
for coming and hanging, guys.
Episode
everybody.
6.
All right.
We
Well,
did episode 6, y'all. Woohoo!
that's right. Make sure you keep your eyes to the sky for episode 7 and make sure that you catch the Tony Michaels podcast every single day if you give a good goddamn about your democracy. All right, kids. We will see
Thanks
you
for coming, y'all.
later, skaters.
Later,
Bye,
skaters.
Have
everybody.
a good weekend.
Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend.
I just fucking
Love everyone.
shot myself.